and welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. Today I am so excited because we are going to be introducing a brand new kit. This kit is called Merry Mice and it is a light up card making kit. We have collaborated with our friends over at Chibitronics to put together this really fun kit that's going to teach you how to make cool interactive light up cards using Chibitronics and Lawn Fawn. This exclusive and limited edition kit has pieces to make 2 projects and templates that are going to teach you not only how to make an interactive light up card, but how to do a cool new technique this time too. In this video, we're going to be making 3 different projects, and the card on the left and the tag are the 2 that are included in the Merry Mice Light Up Card Making Kit. And then the card on the right is one we're going to show you how to take that template and use it on a different card that you've designed. So it's super, super cool. As you can see, these light up cards are so much fun. So you press that button and it lights up, and then the one on the left has that cool new technique that when you go ahead and run your finger back and forth, those lights are going to twinkle. So let's go ahead and open up the Merry Mice kit and check out what's inside. First up, we have an exclusive light kit from Chibitronics. It has 15 feet of copper tape, 2 batteries, and 6 LED lights. There's also an exclusive stamp set and coordinating die set from Lawn Fawn, and this set is called Merry Mice, and those little mice are so cute. The die set even has 2 little openings to create holes for your Chibitronics lights. There's also going to be a little paper included with a QR code or a little website you can check in where you can go to download more templates, written instructions, and go see a video too. Next, we have the pieces to make the 2 projects, and everything's cut down for you to make it super, super easy, and templates are included. So we've got our switch parts and our template for the tag, and then we've got all of our pieces that we need for that super cute card, including this really cool template that's going to show us how to make a twinkling card. So here you can see all of those pieces. We have a card base, and we've even included an extra piece of paper so that you can do all of your stamping on. When you follow that link or QR code that's included in your kit, it's going to lead you to a site where you can download written instructions and more templates too. These are those written instructions, so you can follow along with them or follow along with the video or even follow along with both. First, we're going to go ahead and stamp out images from the set. So we have that cute little mouse, a Christmas tree, and then the mouse facing the other direction. We have a stool that either of the mice can sit on, a cool little present in a larger size and one in a smaller size. We have a star for the top of the tree, and then some shine marks that you can add around that star to make it look like it's glowing. They're super, super cute. Then we have some great ornaments for this set. So we've got 2 different styles of ornaments. We have kind of this longer style and then the round style. Then we have these solid ornaments. So these can be used to color in the lights that we'll show you in a second, or you could stamp them on their own too in a bunch of fun colors. So here you can see how you just have to stamp in a colored ink. Here we used lobster ink, and we were able to color in that light super quick and easy. Here we're going to use some jalapeno ink, and we're going to stamp right in that ornament, and I love how it looks with that cute little shine mark in it. There's another little star that you can add around your tree. And then we've got a smiley face that fits in the Christmas tree and in the larger present. We also have some rosy cheeks that you can stamp on the smiley face to give it this cute little rosy glow. And since this is a set for Chibitronics, we have a little push here sign which you could stamp in the Christmas tree or even just around your scene. And it also fits perfectly inside of that present. And that's my favorite way to use the push here with this stamp set. We have some great sentiments in this set. So we have Hope Your Holidays Are, and also Have a, which you could mix and match with the phrases Merry and Bright, or Mice. So Hope Your Holidays Are Merry and Bright, or Have a Mice Christmas, or Hope Your Holidays Are Mice. So you can mix and match them and create really cute things. And then we have an exclamation point you can add to the ends of your phrases. Next up, we're going to add some color to these fun and cute images. And for these little mice, I'm going to be using some warm grays. They're really cute in any shade of gray and also shades of brown too. I also really like mixing and matching a bunch of different shades and colors of them on one card. But in this case, we're just going to play around with 3 markers here, adding some shading under the curves of the neck and around the arms, a little pink for the inside of their ear, and of course some rosy cheeks. And then I love the E01, E000 combo for their bellies. I think it's just such a pretty color. Now for the tree here, we're using a little bit more kind of like evergreen pine needle color, but I also really like using bright greens too, and they both look amazing on the Christmas tree. For the stump of the tree, we're going to be using some E20 browns, and we're also going to color the little stool with the same browns. I like using similar browns in one card because then everything kind of looks a little bit more cohesive. For the present, I'm using some of those bright green colors we were talking about earlier. So I love them on the present, but these colors look really great on the tree too. So for the presents, I'm using some blues and some greens just for fun. It's fun to match your pattern papers or just kind of mix and match a bunch of fun rainbow colors on a card. We'll add some yellows for our star. And then we're going to be coloring in the ribbons and also the ornaments with the markers. And when we color in the ornaments, you can see the difference between the stamped version and the colored in version. These are the coordinating dies which you can bend apart at the tabs, or you can use your wire snips to separate. You'll see there's two teeny tiny little dies in this die set, and those are going to be to cut the hole for our Chibitronics lights, and we're going to be showing you how to use those in just a little bit. So we're going to take that die, we're going to line it up with the stamped image, hold it in place with some low tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and we're going to have a really cute little die cut mouse. Look how adorable he is. I just love him. And then here is a look at all of the images from the set. And here you can see different ways to mix and match the elements. So this tar on top of the tree is super cute. The two different mice on the stool, I just can't take it. It's so adorable. So they can put the star all the way at the top of the tree. You can have them hold ornaments or mix and match the ornaments onto the tree and kind of put your presents around. Now here are those two teeny tiny little dies in here. So we've got a plain circle and we have a star-shaped circle too. My favorite trick for lining up these tiny little holes is to take a pen and mark the center of exactly where you want to cut that hole out. Then what you're going to do is you're going to look through the little opening in the die, and you can kind of see the red color of the ornament, and all of a sudden it'll go black, and you know you've centered it right over that mark that you made. So we're going to do that with the circular shape and the star shape. So you can use the star shape or the circle one in the star, but the star shape is really cute in the star, and it actually lets a little bit more light shine through, which I think is really pretty. So we held those down with some low tack tape, ran it through the die cut machine, and now we have a star-shaped opening in our star and a circle-shaped opening in our ornament so that our light is going to be able to shine through. Then we'll take our coordinating dies and line those up, run it through the die cut machine, and we'll have our cut images that also include the little hole for the Chibitronic lights. The first project we're going to work on is the tag. So we're going to go through all the steps for this tag. So we're going to take our stamps and dies and lights and just put those away for a second, and we're going to be working with some of these other pieces. Now you'll notice in your kit that you have two pieces of paper that have this holly on them. We're going to flip them over, and on the back there's two different tags. So you have to pick which one you want for the back of your tag. I'm going to pick that one because it has the to and from on it. And your kit may look different. All of the kits have different little tags in them, so it's going to be kind of cool to see what kind of tags you get. Now you'll see at the very top there's kind of these little triangles. We're just going to trim those right off to create our tag shape. And we're going to do that on both the back of the tag, which is the to from, and this merry and bright one, which is actually going to be covered up because we're going to use the front of it with the holly for our sky. We're going to take the template that's included in the kit and we're going to do the same thing. Just follow those little lines there. Just trim off those edges to create the tag shape. There's also a piece of black cardstock included in the kit, and this is so that the light and all our light mechanisms don't shine through that nice light white colored paper. So we're going to line that up with our tag we already cut and just trim those edges right off to create a tag shape from our black cardstock. So I just kind of stack them like a deck of cards and then trim right along that edge. To punch our hole, we're going to take all of our pieces and line them up. So we'll take our cardstock and pattern paper pieces, and then we'll put our template on top because it has the guide for the hole. And I'm just going to take an 1/8 inch hole punch, but any size hole punch will do. And we're just going to go ahead and line that up with the template and just press down and punch a hole. And the nice thing about this is that hole's going to line up through all of the pieces of paper because we cut them all at one time. Here are some of those stamped images that we colored in earlier from the Merry Mice stamp set. We're also going to take out that star shape that we cut out with the star-shaped hole in the center. And then we're going to add a little smiley face from the stamp set onto the Christmas tree because it is just absolutely adorable. Look how cute that is with the little smiley face on it. Next, we're going to add some tape runner to the back of our holly piece of paper, and we're going to layer that onto the black cardstock. Normally, you don't need to do this, but because this is a white pattern paper, some of the light was shining through more of the areas than just the star. By putting the black cardstock behind it, you're just going to have a nice focused light. So it's a really cool tip and trick if you ever happen to be using a lighter colored pattern paper or cardstock. So we're going to layer these two pieces together, and then we're going to start working with our template. So we're going to take that template and we're going to line it up with that tag. Then we're going to take a paper piercer, an awl, a die pokey tool, needle, anything sharp like that, and we're going to poke a hole right through the center of that little triangular shaped light that's on our template. So we're going to line those up, and I just put it on a little piece of foam. Any of that craft fun foam kind of stuff works perfect for this. I'm going to take my paper piercer and put a hole right in the center of that light. Now I've got a hole in my template and I have a hole in my tag. Now this hole is going to be a guide, and I'm going to be cutting out my star-shaped hole since I had a star-shaped hole in my tree topper. Rebecca here at Lawnfawn headquarters came up with the coolest idea. If you take your needle or paper piercer and you put it through the die and you just run it across your card, that needle is going to get stuck right in that hole that you just poked through. And so it's going to give you perfect placement for your die. So just take your paper piercer, put it through the die, run it across your paper, wait till it stops in that hole that you just pierced, hold the die in place, put down some low tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and now you're going to have a star-shaped hole in perfect placement onto your tag or card. Now it's time to decorate. So we're going to take that green strip of paper that's included in your kit, and we're going to layer that on the bottom of the card to create a ground for our tree and our mouse. And then we're going to start adding tape runner to the back of our tree, our star, and our mouse to create our scene. So I'm going to line up that tree topper with that hole that we just cut, and then just kind of tuck that tree underneath so that it's in perfect placement. We're going to add some tape runner to the back of the ornament, and the mouse is going to be holding the ornament as if he's decorating the tree, and then we'll add some foam squares on the back just to give a little extra dimension. We're going to hold off on putting our push here present onto the tag until we have our whole circuit done, but it is time to stamp the sentiment, and we're going to have a mice Christmas. We're going to stamp it in some black licorice ink right above that Christmas tree, and it looks just so adorable, and I love that cute little pun. Now our kit comes with some vellum, and you actually only need to use about a quarter of the vellum. You can save the rest for other cards. And we're going to do something kind of fun with this vellum. We're going to take a yellow marker and just color that vellum in. What that's going to do is when the light shines through that yellow vellum, it's going to give it more of a yellow glow as if it's the yellow star on the top of the Christmas tree. The vellum is also going to diffuse the light so it isn't quite so bright. So we're going to just add some tape runner right around that hole that we've cut, and then we can add that vellum right behind it. Now it's time to finally start working with our circuit. So that template we've worked with a little bit already, so we've got that all cut out. And then we've got our switch parts. So we're going to use some scissors to cut these out. We've got our inside piece, it's a little bit longer, and then our outside piece is a square. So we're just going to take our scissors and just cut right along those black lines. You'll notice that there's a dotted line in between those kind of blue and red areas. We're going to fold along that, and we're going to fold so these pieces are on the inside because that was the inside part of our switch. Then we're going to take the outside part of the switch, we're going to add some tape runner to that and layer that onto the outside of it. And when we do that, we're going to make sure that our red marks are lining up. So you see I'm going to attach that to the outside, then we'll open it up and make sure that that red line kind of goes towards the inside. And you can see how they match up perfectly. Then you can see how that's going to match up perfectly with our template. So we're going to add some tape runner onto the one part that doesn't have any design. We're going to attach that right into that square, and you'll see that our blue is lining up and our red is lining up. Next, we're going to take the copper tape out of the kit, and there's 15 feet of copper tape, so there is a lot of copper tape to make a lot of cards. We're going to start with our blue side, which is our negative side, and we're going to follow that track. When you hit a little curve there, all you need to do is just kind of bend the tape back a little bit to kind of help you keep moving along that curve. So see there, I'm just going to keep following, sticking that tape down, and it sticks down just almost like double-sided tape, and you can actually tear it easily with your finger. Now for the red side, we're going to start on the inside of the switch. So we got on the inside, then we're going to go ahead and move that switch. You'll see we're going to move it over and kind of wrap around the whole thing. Now here we're going to hit a 90-degree turn. To make that turn, we're actually going to kind of fold it back in the opposite direction. And then that helps us then move forward. So you see you're going to kind of fold it upon itself and then keep moving forward along that red line. Once we hit the end, we can just easily tear it right off. Next, we're going to take a bone folder and smooth all of the edges of the tape. So we're going to take that Teflon bone folder and just kind of go along all of the edges and make sure they look nice and smooth and you get out any of those wrinkles. We're going to do that on all of the tape. Then we'll take off one of our lights and you can peel it off just like a little sticker, and we're going to line that up with the template. So you can just follow the shape there. The pointed end is going towards the negative side and the flat end is going towards the positive side. So we're going to stick that right down, and then we're going to add some tape to reinforce it. So we're going to add some tape just over the two edges, lining it up with the copper tape that's already there, and that's going to make sure that that light really does hold in place. Then we'll take our bone folder and just make sure to press that tape down so that it's nice and smooth. Next, we're going to take our battery, and you'll see on the battery that there's a positive side. Well, that positive side is going to be the side that's going to be face up. So this is my favorite part right now. We're going to put it in, we're going to test and see if it works. And voila, it does. It's lighting up. How cool is that? It's so much fun. It's so amazing, and I love how easy the template makes it to make one of these cards. Next, we're going to flip over the back of the tag, add some tape runner, and we're going to add our circuit to that back piece. Then we're going to start working with our foam. Now, when it comes to foam, you want to make sure that the height is taller than your battery. So in this case, I'm using this Scotch foam, and I'm going to be doubling it up just to give it a little extra height because this foam is pretty thin. So you'll see I'm just going to kind of fold it in half and stick it to itself to get a nice double height. Then what you can do is take your scissors and trim this down to whatever width you need. So I needed some skinnier strips, so I'm just going to take my scissors and just get it as skinny as I need it. We're going to start adding our foam around the tag. So we're going to kind of go around the top so that it's not in the way of the hole that our twine is going to go through. And then we're going to start working around our battery area. What our foam is going to do is it's going to be creating a well for the battery so that the battery can't move around. So we're going to add some foam there to the bottom part of the tag, and then we need to add some foam over top of the battery because if not, you can see how the battery would just slide out. So we're going to add that piece of foam right there, and now you'll see that we've trapped that battery in the switch so that it can't move around, it can't fall out. So now we know the battery's good. I kind of always shake it around, make sure it's all good. We'll add a little bit of extra foam in the center just to give this tag some nice stability. We'll peel off the liner paper on the foam tape, and then we can attach the top of the tag that we worked on decorating earlier, and that's going to be forming our whole project. As you can see how cool this is, we're just going to line that right up with that foam, and we're going to have a functioning light up tag. Now we need to add our push here present on there. So this is why I like to do this at the very end. I'm going to see where the perfect place to push is, where the light lights up really well, and then we can add that present right to that spot. And now the recipient is going to be able to push the present and have the tree light up. Oh my goodness, it's just so cute. In the kit, we've included some mistletoe lawn trimmings, which matches perfectly with the red, green, and white. We're going to fold the piece in half, put that through the hole of the tag, and then just feed it right into that loop to create our tag that you'll be able to hang on a present. And this is the coolest thing. I just absolutely love this tag. It was really easy to put together because of that awesome template, and I love the cool interactive nature. I also love that you could take this design and make it into a card as well. So it could be a cute little mini card that someone would just love. So there you can see that super cool little light up, and then when you take the tag and flip it over, it's got a spot to write the to and the from. Now I wanted to show you a couple other tags that we made with kits, so you'll see that the kits have different tags included in them, so it'll be a surprise as to which one you're going to get, and you can see that they're all super duper cute. Now these tags come from our Snow Day paper. So it's actually a 12 by 12 paper that has all of these awesome tag designs. So you may get one of these designs. And if you wanted to make some more tags, you can get one of these sheets of paper and you can make a ton of tags with one sheet. Now that we've learned to create a more simple circuit, it's time to step it up a little bit. We're going to be showing you this really cool circuit that helps you create kind of this twinkling effect onto your Christmas tree. So you'll see right here that we've got the template, all the pieces included in the kit, and a bunch of stamped and colored images from that awesome stamp set. The first thing we're going to do is work with that snowy hill. So we've die cut that for you with a stitched hillside border, and we're going to be stamping our sentiment 3/8 of an inch up from the bottom. So I'm going to take my ruler here just as a guide, and I'm going to line it up right there with the 3/8 of an inch, and my 0 is going to be my guide as to where to stamp my sentiment. In this case, we're going to be stamping Hope Your Holidays Are Merry and Bright. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that right there, 3/8 of an inch from the bottom, and you'll see why that's important in just a little bit. Our next step is going to look a little familiar. We're going to be taking out our template and also that piece of pattern paper there. It's Snow Day Remix paper that's so pretty with that snowy design. We're going to line this piece of pattern paper up to the very top of the template. So it's going to be at the top of the template. It's not going to extend all the way to the bottom of the template. So we'll line that up. We're going to hold it in place, and then we're going to take our paper piercer, and we have 3 lights this time. So we're going to poke a hole in the center of the 3 lights. So we've got 1, and then 2, and then 3. These poked holes are going to be the guide for die cutting our hole, and this time we're going to use the circle-shaped hole, and we're using that cool little trick that Rebecca came up with, where we're going to take our paper piercer or needle and we're going to put it through the center of the die and then move it around on our paper until our paper piercer kind of fits in that hole that we poke through. Then we can add our tape, hold it in place, and run it through the die cut machine. And we'll repeat it for the third one. We're going to take our paper piercer, put it through the die, then it's going to kind of fall into that hole that we pierced earlier, hold it in place with some low-tack tape, and run it through the die cut machine, and we now have our 3 holes for our 3 Chibitronics lights. Next, we're stamping ornaments on the tree, and you want to follow this placement exactly. You can see the placement in the video. You can see it also in the printable instructions. So you're going to be stamping on the first layer of the tree and kind of that first scallop to the left, and on the second layer of the tree, and you're going to be stamping that on the first scallop but from the right. So we're going to stamp those right there, and the reason that's important is these are going to line up with those Chibitronics holes that we just cut. So now that we've stamped our lights, we can start to add color to the tree. So I'm going to add my green and then red and blue to our Christmas lights. Then we're going to use our pen trick here to line up our dies on both our star and the lights on the Christmas tree. So I'm using that black pen there just to create a marked center in each one. Then we're going to look through that die, and I'll see yellow, and then all of a sudden I'll see the black pen mark. So then we're going to line it up that way, hold it in place with our low-tack tape, and then we can run that through our die cut machine. This time we've cut the circle-shaped opening from the star on the Christmas tree. Then we'll repeat the same thing with the lights actually on the tree. So we're going to line up that die looking through it until we see our black mark, run it through the die cut machine, and then we'll repeat the same thing with our blue light. We'll run that through, and we're going to have now the 3 holes that are going to match up with the 3 holes that we cut with our pattern paper. Now it's time to decorate. So we're going to take that snowy hill and add that to the bottom of our sky. And then we're going to go ahead and take our tree and our light. We'll add some tape runner to the back. And these are going to be nice and easy to line up because you're going to line up the holes you cut in your die cuts with the holes on that pattern paper. So we'll line up our tree first, and then once we have that in placement, we can do the star topper on the top of the tree. That is hard to say. So we're going to line that up right there, and then we can start adding the rest of our decorations. So we're going to add the ornament into the mouse's hand, and then we're going to do one of my favorite things from this whole set and put the mouse on that little stool. I think it's just the cutest thing. Then we can add him into the scene. We're going to give our other mouse an ornament, and then we can add him right around that tree. We're also going to add some presents as well, just to kind of help fill in the scene and add a little bit more color. It's time to work with our template again, and you're going to notice that when you get this template in your kit, it's already folded in half. See those 2 dotted lines? We actually need to fold along both of those lines. So we've done one for you, and you're going to do the other one. Now this is nice thin paper, so it's going to be easy to fold on these lines that are really, really close together. So here you're going to see we're going to start folding. So I'm going to follow that dotted line exactly, and these 2 score lines are going to be really, really close together, and you're going to see why in a second. So you'll see I'm just kind of carefully folding along that dotted line and then working my way across. Once I've got that folded, I can kind of make it a little bit more of a crease. Then we're going to take those lines and we're going to fold them in the opposite direction once they're nice and creased. So you'll see they have a nice crease, and so we're just going to take those now, and it's nice and easy to just fold them in the opposite direction because we actually want that bottom part with those 3 red lines to kind of fold over the rest of the circuit. So we're just going to reinforce those lines again, and now you're going to see what we've created, almost like a little fold or a pocket. So once you've folded both of those lines, it's going to end up looking like that, and that's going to create a pocket for this really cool twinkling mechanism to work. Next, we're going to take some double-sided tape, and you're going to be adding that to that square that kind of has those little dotted lines there. So we're just going to add some tape, and we're going to cover that square completely. So that's going to be 2 pieces of 1/4-inch double-sided tape. So some nice strong tape here. So we're going to layer those pieces on, and then we'll go ahead and peel up that liner paper. Once we remove that liner paper, we're going to work with the blue track. So we're going to take our copper tape and we're going to start following that blue track. When we hit that 90-degree turn, we're going to go ahead and fold it back, and then we can turn our paper and we can start to finish the rest of the blue track. So we're going to go there, and then we're going to do the same thing, fold it in the opposite direction, and then start following the rest of that blue track. Once we have that track down, we're going to go ahead and take our bone folder and we're going to smooth that out, get out those wrinkles, and make sure that that tape is really firmly down to that blue track. Then the next thing we're going to do, this is now just a little bit different, we're going to take out our battery and we're going to look at that battery and make sure that the plus sign is up on that battery. Then we're going to be sticking that battery down right where that circle is. That circle has that double-sided tape that we added earlier. So we're going to take that battery plus side up, and we're going to stick it right down onto the card. And the battery is actually going to be held in place with that double-sided tape. Next, we're going to add copper tape to the red track, and we're going to start on the battery. So we started on the battery, and then we've connected it to that red track, and we're going to follow that red track. So it's gone over the battery and then through the red track. Then we've got some more red track area. So we're going to take our copper tape and we're going to follow this whole one. We'll do our little turn there and keep following that tape all the way up. So once again, we've added tape directly onto the battery and then continuing onto the red track. And then we're going to do the second long red track. Once we've got that one down there, we're going to add some tape to those 3 shorter red track pieces. So we're going to add our copper tape to each one of those. Then we're going to take our bone folder and once again smooth out any of those edges or wrinkles, even on the battery. So we're going to go all the way around, and you can see that how nice and smooth and clean it looks once we run that bone folder over it. Next, we're going to be taking out our lights, and these are nice sticker LED lights, and we're going to just follow that little picture there. So you can see that picture. The pointy end ends up going to the negative, and the flat end ends up going to the positive. But you can also just look at the picture and just line it right up. So we're going to take those 3 lights and attach them. Next, we're going to do a really cool idea that I never would have thought of, and it is awesome. We're going to take some markers. We're using some Copic markers here, but any kind of alcohol ink marker or a Sharpie would work perfect for this. So we're going to be coloring in the lights, and when you color them in, the light then glows that color. So you see we're going to press down, and there's a yellow glow, and you can see the difference between the lights. So now we're going to repeat it with red. We're just going to add some red on there, and then you'll see when we press down, you get the coolest red glow, and then we'll repeat the same thing with blue, and you can do this with any color. Oh my goodness, I think it looks so cool, and it kind of diffuses the light and makes it not quite as bright. Now, before we move on to the next step, I wanted to show you how cool this awesome template is. So what you do is you run your finger along the bottom, and as your finger hits those different copper areas, the lights turn on and off. So if you move your finger really fast on it, it looks like this really cool twinkling effect, or you can move it slower and it has this cool on-off effect. It's the neatest thing. So now that we've got our lights colored, it's time to reinforce them. We're going to take our tape and add it to the tops and bottoms following the copper tracks that we already have down, just to make sure that those lights are nice and secure. Then we'll take our bone folder and run it around to make sure that they are nice and flat and everything is connected. And then here is a look one more time at how this circuit is working. So we have our 3 copper strips, and as our finger goes around and hits those different copper strips, the lights turn on and off. So you go in between the strips and they turn off, and when you hit the strip, it turns on. It's the coolest, most fun thing. For this template, we're going to be using a single layer of foam. So we're going to be cutting down some pieces to match up with those shaded areas at the very bottom of the template. In those areas, it says 16th inch thickness foam tape. So that's the thinner tape. We're just going to be using the single layer, and we're going to line those up on those 3 areas. Next, we're going to peel up the liner paper on our foam tape. Then we can fold up the bottom part of the template to attach to the top part of the template. When we fold that, you're going to see that cool little double score line we created earlier is going to create almost like a little pocket, and the foam is the support for that pocket. That keeps those copper strips, the tiny copper strips towards the bottom, floating up in the air until you press down with your finger. Then when you press down with your finger, that's when that light lights up. Next, we're going to add foam tape around the rest of the template so that we can put our decorative piece we worked on earlier up top. So I'm just going to go around the edges of the foam tape and kind of fill in the centers as well, just to give it some nice stability. We're also going to be taking some double-sided tape, and we're going to run that double-sided tape around that pocket area. We don't need any foam there since there's already foam underneath it, so we're just going to take that tape and run it along the edges there just so that it adheres nicely to our decorated piece. Then we'll peel up the liner paper on the double-sided tape and on the foam tape pieces. And then we can take our cute piece that we decorated earlier and layer it over top of the circuit. And you can already see how cute that is looking when you run your finger along the bottom of the card. So we only have one little step left, and that's to add our pattern paper to our card base. So I love that red snowflake paper. And then we can layer on our whole mechanism. We'll add some tape runner to the back of that, and we'll layer that right onto the card front. Here is a close-up look at what those lights look like colored with the markers. You can see how pretty it is. It's much more subtle, and the lights glow yellow, red, and blue. And now our card is all finished, and you can see that what you need to do is run your fingers along that sentiment. That's why we're so careful about where we stamped it. And as you run your finger along it, it creates this really cool twinkling effect. If you move your finger a little bit slower, it goes on and then off and then on and then off like here. And if you move your finger a little bit faster, it has more of a twinkling effect. So this is a great card to give to somebody in person so that you can explain it, or you could write little instructions on the inside. The tag is great to give anyone because you have that push here button and you can press it right down. Both templates are so much fun, and I loved getting to learn how to make this really cool twinkling effect. I also love the differences in the lights. So on the right we have the one with the vellum behind it, and also with the larger star opening, so it's much brighter. And then on the left we have the ones that we colored in with markers, which are much more subtle. So depending on what look you're going for, that's a great way to do it. Now, we're going to take one of those templates and apply it to a totally different card design. I love that you can take these templates and use them for other ideas. So we're going to take this stitched hillside backdrop and die cut it from some white cardstock. We're also going to cut down a piece of cardstock to 5.5 by 4.25 that'll fit behind it perfectly, and we're going to be doing some ink blending for our sky. We're going to be using blender brushes and my favorite combo for skies, which is fish tank, peacock, and merman. So we'll have fish tank towards the bottom, peacock in the middle, and merman up top. And we're going to make sure to create a seamless blend between the 3 colors by having them overlap just a little bit. Then we can kind of go back and forth where the 3 colors meet and kind of blend those colors back and forth until it looks really, really nice. And now you can see just how pretty that's looking. I love the glow of the blue at the bottom. We're going to take a spray bottle here filled with just plain water, and we're going to spray that ink, and you'll see that it's going to react, and then just use a paper towel to pick up any of the excess just for a little texture. Then to create some snow, I'm going to take some of this Copic white stuff, but white acrylic paint would work great too. I just don't have any. This is what I've got. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to mix it with some water just to water it down a little bit. And I have a tiny little paintbrush here. I'm going to pick up some of that paint mixed with water and tap the edge of the paintbrush to create splatters, and that's going to create snow in the sky. And depending on how much water and ink I pick up, I'll have bigger or smaller splatters. Once we've got that whole sky done, we're going to go ahead and set that aside to dry, and we're going to start working on our Chibitronics lights. We're going to do that same trick where we're going to take a pen and we're going to make a little mark in the center of the star, and we're going to be using the star-shaped hole this time. So we'll look through the die and kind of see some yellow, wait till we see some black. Once we see that, we know we're in perfect placement, and then we can hold that in place with some low-tack tape. We'll run it through the die cut machine, and now we're going to have a hole perfect for our Chibitronics light to shine through. Then we've gone ahead and stamped and colored some of the cute little mice from Merry Mice and also some trees from Winter Skies. We're also going to be taking out our Holiday Helper stamp set, and we're going to use the little hot cocoa mugs from that set, which are so adorable. So we're going to be mixing and matching. Later on, we're even going to bring in the stamp set Cheery Christmas too. So it's fun to look through all of your holiday stamp sets and see what you can mix and match. We're going to start assembling the scene by adding some tape runner to the back of that stitched hillside backdrop, and then we're going to start decorating our cute little area here with our mice and our different trees there, our pine trees. We're going to die cut from some Snow Day Remix paper a stitched rectangle frame and put that around for a pop of color. I love it once you frame it. It just makes the whole thing. We're going to add our mice that are clinking their hot cocoa cups together on with some foam squares, and this idea was an idea of Elena's. I thought was just the cutest thing ever. Gone ahead and die cut a wavy banner, and we're going to take the Have a Mice Christmas stamps and just curve them to match the banner, and then stamp in some red ink, some lobster ink, right onto that banner. We'll add the banner in the sky with some foam squares and then finish decorating the rest of the card. So we're going to add in our cute little Christmas tree at the bottom. And one of my favorite things about this card is that little mice, how he's leaning on the stool. He just has one foot on it and he's leaning over to the Christmas tree. We're going to add some shadows behind our little hot cocoa mice there with an N0 marker, a really light gray marker. And then here's that cheery Christmas stamp set that we're going to be using a Santa hat from and that really cute string of lights. So we're going to add our Santa hat to our mouse, and then we've got our string of lights there at the top where we've got the mouse teetering on the stool holding the lights, and then the mouse at the bottom holding the rest of them. Now to create this card, I went on over to the site that's going to be included in your kit, and I printed out my templates here. So these are the extra templates so that you can make lots of extra Chibitronics cards. So we're just going to be trimming this apart. We need one of those switch parts, and then we're going to be using that tag template that we used at the very beginning of the video, but we're going to be altering it just a bit. We're going to use our scissors to trim out those switch parts. We have the inside and the outside. Then we'll be folding along that little dotted line in the center so that we've got the inside parts on the inside. Then we'll take some tape runner and add it to our outside part and attach that to the outside and make sure that our red lines are lining up. So we'll attach that down and you'll see that our red lines are going to be nice and continuous. Now here is how we're going to alter this template. We're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut it in half right below that light. And this is how we're going to extend this template and make it nice and tall for our card. So there you can see how we've now extended it. And visually we're going to be able to easily connect those lines and put our copper tape along the red and blue tracks. So right here is when I realized something. I had never poked my hole into the actual card base. That was a big oops on my part. The good part was that it was totally salvageable. So I went ahead and used my paper piercer there and I poked a hole right through the hole I had already cut in my tree topper. Then I popped off my sentiment banner since it was going to get in the way of die cutting. I used that little trick where we took the paper piercer and we put it in the die and kind of waited till we found that hole that we had pierced through earlier. That's going to find us perfect placement. We'll hold it in place with some low tack tape, run it through the die cut machine, and now we finally have the hole in the card base. So if you're like me, then you can always go back and fix it. And if you think ahead, then you can make sure to cut this before you add your banner on with foam tape. Good thing was I was able to pop it off and then pop it right back on, and now we've got the hole in the top of the Christmas tree and the hole in our card front. Now we're going to go back to that template and we're going to use our paper piercer and just pierce right through it there, right through the center of that light. And you'll see how these holes are all going to be lining up and it's going to be our guide. Then we're going to trim down a piece of cardstock to be the size of our card front, which is 5.5 by 4.25. And we're going to layer that behind it, kind of stack it up like a deck of cards. And you guessed it, we're going to take that paper piercer out again, and we're going to poke right through that hole in the tree and in our card front to this piece of paper. Then we're going to take that template that we also poked the hole through, and we're just going to line those two holes up. I just find it easier to just be able to kind of line those two openings up, and it's going to fit through really perfectly, and I can just make sure with my paper piercer that I did that right. Then we'll add some tape runner to the rest of the template, and we're going to take that and glue it down towards the bottom of that card base piece. You can see here how everything is kind of starting to line up. So we're going to add some tape runner to that switch part and then add that on just like we did with the tag. So our blue lines are going to match up and our red lines are going to match up. And then we're going to start working with our copper tape, and we're going to start with that blue track. And this is going to be just like the tag, it's just going to be extended. So you'll see there we're going to follow that blue track, kind of turn our corner there. And then once we get to this straightaway part, you can kind of pull out some extra tape and just make sure that visually it lines up with the blue towards the top, and then just press down and tear that off. And then we're going to be repeating this with the red side. So I love this idea of being able to take our templates and alter them. In this case, it's a pretty simple idea. We just extended it and made it taller. But you could take this template and turn it on its side in a different direction, or even at an angle. You could add more lights to it, so there was a bunch of lights in a row. Or you could take that tinkling one and create other cool scenes with it. So I love that you can take these templates and really make them work for all sorts of different card designs. We've added our LED light sticker. We've added some copper tape towards the top to have it nice, secure in place. And now we're going to take our battery plus side up and make sure that it's working. And I'm going to lay it over the card just to see. And oh my gosh, it's so pretty already. I just love it. Now we're going to take a piece of vellum, and we're not going to color it with a marker this time. We're just going to put plain vellum behind the hole in the card front. And that's just going to diffuse the light just a little bit and give it this really cool kind of special holiday glow. So we've got our battery once again plus side up, and now we're going to take our foam tape and we're going to double it up this time. So we can double it up and cut it into thinner strips, and we're going to be laying this all around this piece. We'll cut down some thinner strips, and then we're going to be creating that little well for the battery. So we're going to put that foam at the top and the bottom and the side of it, and now you can see the battery can't fall out. We'll add one more piece of foam tape for good measure, and then we can peel up all of that liner paper and attach the card front to this. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this now. You can see I checked the light over and over again because I'm kind of paranoid, and I want to make sure it works before I put my card front that I worked so hard on top, and it works. And so now you can see, oh my gosh, that glow is so pretty, and I love how it kind of glows into the rest of that ink blended scene. Now here we have our present that says push here. You can see I'm kind of playing around with it till I get the perfect area that you're really pushing down towards the center of that battery. And we'll add one more little present there just to kind of create a little pile of presents. And then you can see how cool this is looking. Here we have a card base at 5.5 by 4.25. We're going to add some tape runner to that and attach the whole card piece onto that. And our card is done. I can't get over how cute this is and how easy it was to take the template and alter it to a different card. I also loved being able to combine the Merry Mice stamp set with other stamp sets in my stash to create this really, really cool holiday scene. And I just love the glow of the light. It's so cute and so pretty. And so here is a comparison between all of the projects that we made today. The first two are the ones that are included in the kit, and we learned how to do this really cool twinkling circuit. And then we've got our tag, which is absolutely adorable. And then we took that tag template and we totally stepped it up for a completely different card design. So I had so much fun making these cards, and I hope you guys had fun watching them and are having fun making them yourselves. These circuit cards are so cool, and this kit makes it so easy to learn how to put these together. Next up, we have some absolutely amazing examples from our design team that I am just in love with. And they're really cool because some of them are Chibitronics cards and some of them aren't. So you can use the stamp set for light up cards or for other cards. And this card by Audrey with that craft background, oh my goodness, I just love it. This card by Sherry is so cute. That watercolor and those little stars stamped around are so pretty, and you can see how cute with that star lining up. Here's the card by Elena that inspired me today, and she created a card without the light effect, so I love that you can do both ideas. Here is a Have a Mice Christmas card by Elise that is just so cute. Oh my goodness. And then this card by Lynette is adorable. I love that red pattern paper in the background. And here, Marine, oh my goodness, this little house, and when you open it up on the inside, it lights up. I can't take how adorable it is. This card by Megan is so amazing, and I love that she extended her template to be super, super tall, and she combined it with our mice on ice. This card by Melissa is so cool. I love those lime green colors. And this one by Nicole, oh my gosh, that blue background and all of those different lights lighting up, I just love it. I adore Kristen's color palette. The purple and rainbow is so cool, and when you press down, you can see all of those lights light up. This scene by Tammy is just beautiful. She combined Mice on Ice with Merry Mice too, and they're great together, and you can see that beautiful tree lighting up and these cute little ornaments that she made with the Merry Mice stamp set as well. And then this card by Grace is so cool because when you press, not only does the star light up, but all the words light up too, which is absolutely amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching today, and a big thank you to everybody at Chibitronics for collaborating on another fun kit. We can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. If you want to check out any more videos, make sure to click here and you can click to subscribe. And I hope that you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!